Welcome back to another episode of Askewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that I received early access from, once again from my friends over at Terror Films. So the movie that I'm referring to is the 2025 film Faye, directed and written by Madeline Doherty. So, as I usually do with this genre, as a heads up, this is a found footage film. Now, I will say this though, with the amount of found footage horror I've watched, especially in the past year, mainly due to being able to get early access screeners and things like that for independent movies, I will say this, I have grown a little bit more of an appreciation for that genre. I still won't say it's one of my favorites, though. And speaking of this movie being a found footage film, Faye is described as being a real and raw found footage movie, as in just kind of moments that are happening and you're feeling like you're being pulled into that moment, or it's just, I don't know, it's supposed to be more immersive. At least that's what I read in the description here. Me personally, I didn't really get that feeling, but that's just my own opinion. So, let me tell you a little bit more about this movie, though, to maybe see if this is something that you want to check out once it's available. So, in the movie Faye, we have our main character of Maddie, who is actually played by the director Madeline Doherty. Now, what's happening to Maddie is that she had a traumatic event occur when she was alone, at least from my understanding. So now they're trying a trauma study with cameras in her childhood home where she's supposed to stay there for a little bit alone and see if she's able to overcome her fears or kind of deal with the issues that are still lingering. Now, during this experiment, she's not completely alone, as some of the people involved with the study do come to check on her. But it does seem weird to them as some strange things start happening or are kind of witnessed on camera. From there, Maddie seems like she's being not so much attacked, but perhaps stalked in this home by some sort of supernatural force, or maybe even some group of cultists. It's a little hard to understand that part, but basically, something is really trying to mess with her. Throughout the film, there are little title card vignettes that are trying to explain certain situations or kind of like what occurred during middle parts or the past. I also really wasn't following that very well. And then there's also some missing persons that are mentioned throughout the film, and then some guy named Noah who I think she meets with, but I'm not 100% certain about that. You know what? I'm just going to be honest here. I found this movie incredibly hard to follow. Like, I did not understand it at all. So much so that at the end of the movie, I actually had to go and look up the explanation just to see if I could understand it. And even reading that, I still don't know if I got that from this film. So I'm just going to be honest. Due to how confusing and convoluted this felt, I am going to give this movie a 1 out of 5. Now, I'm not saying don't check it out for yourselves, because maybe you will like it much more than me, or maybe you'll even understand it a lot more than I did, because I do have ADHD. So I will say, maybe with so many random things happening, I just didn't catch it when information was being given to me. But I don't know. You'll have to see for yourselves. I will also say this. I have a lot of respect for people that are willing to put passion and time into making a movie, especially horror films. So I'm not at all trying to say that Madeline Doherty should stop making movies. I hope that this movie is a jumping off point or kind of the building block to the next thing that she does that hopefully I will enjoy a lot more. So if you want to check out Faye, it is going to be available on video on demand and streaming as of November 14th, and you'll primarily be able to find it on Chilling, Scare Network TV, Kings of Horror, Watch Movies Now, Shocks and Docs, and of course, the Terror Films YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And just another big shout out to my friends over at Terror Films for allowing me access to all of these early screenings. I really do appreciate it. Please keep on pushing those my direction, because I love to watch horror movies, and independent horror is something that should always be appreciated. And then the last thing I'll say is, if you already have an opportunity to watch this, or once you do watch it, let me know what you thought about Faye in the comments.